In 1997, scientists recorded a sound. Not an explosion, not a volcano, not any known geological event on Earth. Just a sound. A sound so low, so deep, so enormous, that the microphones picking it up were nearly 5,000 miles apart. And they all heard it. The scientists who analyzed it said it matched the profile of a living creature. A creature that, if it existed, would have to be larger than anything that has ever lived on this planet. This is the story of one sound. And why, nearly 30 years later, we still can't fully explain it. The ocean we don't know. Before we get to the sound, we need to understand where it came from, because most people have no real sense of how alien the deep ocean actually is. We've mapped more of the surface of Mars than we have the bottom of our own oceans. Think about that. The planet we live on, the only home we've ever known, and we know more about a dead, red desert 140 million miles away than we know about what's living 2 miles beneath our feet. The deep ocean is not just deep. It's a completely different world. Pressures that would crush a submarine like a tin can, temperatures near freezing, zero sunlight, and yet life thrives there. Strange, bioluminescent, alien-looking life. We've discovered creatures in the deep sea that look like they were designed by someone who had never seen an animal before. Transparent fish with teeth too large for their mouths. Jellyfish the size of cars. Worms 10 feet long. Things without eyes that somehow navigate darkness perfectly. And for the longest time, scientists suspected that somewhere down there, something very large was hiding. They just had no proof. Not until 1997. The day the ocean spoke, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, operates a surveillance system originally built for one purpose: to track Soviet submarines during the Cold War. It's called SOSUS, the Sound Surveillance System. A network of underwater microphones, hydrophones, scattered across the ocean floor, designed to detect the faint acoustic signatures of enemy vessels. When the Cold War ended, NOAA took over the system, and scientists quickly realized they had something extraordinary. A way to listen to the entire ocean at once. Not just submarines, not just ships, everything. Whale migrations, underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. The ocean, for the first time, had become audible in a way it never had been before. And in the summer of 1997, something called back. On the 19th of May, and again through the summer months, NOAA's hydrophone arrays picked up a signal. It was brief, less than a minute, but it was unlike anything in the recorded catalog of known ocean sounds. It began low, almost subsonic, then rose rapidly in frequency. A slow, blooping ascent, which is exactly what they ended up calling it, the bloop. And then the question started. The mystery deepens. What could make that sound? Here's the thing that made scientists stop cold. The bloop's acoustic profile, the shape of the sound, the way it rose in frequency, was consistent with the sound of a living animal, not a machine, not a geological event, something biological, something that breathed and moved and called out. Blue whale is the largest animal ever documented on Earth. At up to 100 feet long and nearly 200 tons, it produces sounds so powerful they can be detected thousands of miles away. But the bloop was louder, significantly louder. If the bloop came from a living creature, and the profile suggested it did, the creature would need to be dramatically larger than any blue whale, larger than any animal we've ever known to have lived on this planet. The location the signal was traced to, not far from a set of coordinates that had once captured the imagination of a horror writer. Those are, almost exactly, the fictional underwater coordinates of the sunken city of R'lyeh, the home of Cthulhu, imagined by H.P. Lovecraft in 1926. A sleeping, ancient deep-sea god, waiting. That's probably a coincidence. Probably. The sound that ate the internet. NOAA released the recording publicly. And the internet, still young, still electric with the thrill of conspiracy, absolutely lost its mind. Message boards filled overnight. Marine biology forums, cryptozoology sites, and flat-out conspiracy rabbit holes all converged on one question. What is down there? Sea monster theories. Giant squid. Prehistoric survival. A coelacanth-style remnant from the Jurassic. Something that had lived in the deep trenches for millions of years undisturbed. And it wasn't just cranks and conspiracy theorists. Legitimate marine scientists went on record saying the signal was genuinely unusual, that they could not immediately identify its source, that it warranted serious investigation. For years, close to 15 years, the bloop remained officially unexplained, officially mysterious. And that mystery quietly grew into something larger than a sound. It became a symbol, a reminder that the ocean, the thing that covers 71% of this planet, still holds secrets from us. We are, in the most literal sense, strangers on our own world. The answer. The explanation that doesn't quite satisfy. In 2005, and again more conclusively in 2012, NOAA scientists published what they believed to be the answer. The bloop, they said, was most likely an ice quake, the sound of a massive iceberg fracturing, cracking under its own pressure in the movement of glacial ice, not a creature. Ice. The frequency matched. The geography was plausible. The South Pacific sits relatively close to Antarctica. The acoustic propagation through the water made sense. And NOAA, quietly and without a great deal of fanfare, closed the file. Mystery solved. Except, not everyone is satisfied. The icequake explanation accounts for some of the bloop's properties, but acoustic scientists have pointed out that icequakes, as common as they are in Antarctica, don't typically produce signals that propagate as cleanly or as far as the bloop did. The signal was detected by hydrophones nearly 5,000 miles apart, simultaneously. The energy required to produce that kind of reach is exceptional. Exceptional even for a very large iceberg fracture. And there's one other thing, something smaller, almost overlooked. The signal was never recorded again. Not once. Not in the decades of continuous monitoring that followed. Whatever it was, it happened once. And then it stopped. Icebergs fracture every year in Antarctica. They crack and groan and calve into the sea constantly. And we record those sounds regularly. But this sound, this particular profile, this particular reach, this particular intensity, has never been heard again. What the ocean is still hiding. Here's what's genuinely unsettling about all of this. Not the monster theory, not the Lovecraft connection. This, we have explored less than 20% of the world's oceans. In terms of the deep sea floor, the real deep, we've mapped perhaps 5 to 10% in any meaningful resolution. In 2023, marine biologists cataloged an entirely new deep-sea ecosystem near underwater volcanoes in the Pacific, an ecosystem that had been sitting there, completely unknown, for who knows how long. This year, this century. New species are discovered in the deep ocean on a near-monthly basis. Creatures we didn't know existed. Creatures that look like they were invented. So when someone says, "Could something very large be hiding in the deep ocean?" The honest scientific answer is not no. The honest scientific answer is we don't know. We haven't looked. In 2014, NOAA scientists monitoring underwater acoustics off the Pacific Northwest coast detected what they initially described as an unidentified biological sound. a low-frequency signal with characteristics suggesting a very large animal. It was later attributed to fin whale calls. Probably. The ocean is full of probablys. The Bloop is, in all likelihood, ice, a massive, ancient glacier fracturing under its own weight, groaning out a sound so enormous it crossed an entire ocean. That explanation is probably correct. But here's what that explanation doesn't take away from you. The feeling you get when you hear that sound, that low, rising, alien call from somewhere beneath 5 miles of black water, is not irrational. It's ancient. It's the same thing your ancestors felt standing at the edge of the ocean 10,000 years ago, staring out at the horizon and knowing in their bones, that something vast and unknowable lived beyond it. We've answered a lot of questions since then, but the ocean keeps asking new ones. There are sounds being recorded in the deep ocean right now that no one has yet been able to explain. Strange signals, unidentified profiles, open files. The deep is still talking. We're just not sure we're ready to hear what it's saying. What do you think the Bloop was? Leave it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And if this kind of storytelling is what you come here for, you know where the subscribe button is.